Hello, everyone. We're here for another episode of TCN Rundown, and today we're going to quickly talk about the breaking news that Andy Muschietti is still directing Batman the Brave and the Bold for the DCU. So let's sit tight, let's talk about this project, and explain where this news is coming from. And here we are, another episode of TCN Rundown. So earlier today, on the 6th of October, news had broken that director Andy Muschietti of the It franchise, and most notably The Flash, has still been attached to this film. And this comes after weeks of scoopers all saying that he has quietly been swept under the rug and dropped from the project. But this comes out of actually Twitter, of all places, a fan by the name of the Gotham Knight, aka this gentleman sat down and actually cataloged his entire experience with meeting Andy Muschietti over the weekend and asked him some questions flat out. He confirmed he is still attached to direct the film. But however, the bad news is the film will actually probably go into production not this next year. The reality is that with the Batman Part 2 starting production in early 2026 and being in production through a majority of the year, it is kind of assumed now that the film will probably come out into production in 2027. He actually said that he is still attached. He is actually aware of the plot of the film, and he knows who this hidden writer is, but didn't want to give any more information about it. So he didn't. The young man didn't want to ask him any details. He said he's not a scooper, so he wasn't going to go out and ask him all of these details and try to get this brand new, unheard of information. But this actually comes out and directly contradicts what is coming from a lot of scoopers out there who've all said that the studio has quietly swept him under the rug and let him go. However, fans who've actually been paying attention understand that he had actually been attached to this project from the very start. And this actually comes off of the heels of his directing gig with The Flash. Now, this film was, for better or for worse, one of the final pieces of the DCEU. And for those who weren't paying attention to the drama and the trials and tribulations that Andy himself went through for this entire project, the project had started production shortly after the Justice League film in 2017, entered production. It went through a handful of directors where Andy finally picked up the reins and reportedly had filmed so many different variations of this film, he could cut together multiple movies. But with all the different regime changes, with different hands in the pot, he had been left with what was the final gig of the DCEU. Unfortunately, the buck ended up stopping with him. People still blame him for the mess of the film. However, the film itself, what was turned out, was still a decent film. It may not have been what he wanted to make from the very beginning. It may not have been what he started in the very beginning, but it was still the film that came out and wrapped up the DCEU in its own little way. So that's it for TCN Rundown. The news comes out. He is still attached to the project. So tell me what you think. Do you want this project to move forward? Do you want it to be canceled? Are you excited that Andy Muschietti, the director of It Chapters 1 and 2, and the upcoming HBO Max project Welcome to Derry, are you excited that he is still attached to this Batman film? Tell me what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This has been TCN Rundown.